All right, so let's talk about intervals. So when we talk about intervals, there are two types of intervals. There are generic intervals and specific intervals. And so these are the two ways we talk about intervals. So generic intervals are measured on the staff, so measured by staff position, and we do not take into account with generic intervals accidentals. Remember, accidentals are flats and sharps, denoting how a pitch is raised or lowered by a half step. So generic intervals, we don't care about accidentals. We just look at lines and spaces. So for example, when two notes occupy the same line or space, they are a prime or a first apart. So you see here we have middle C and middle C. They occupy the same line, so they are first apart. Middle C and D, they are a second apart. Middle C and E, a third apart. Middle C and F, a fourth apart. Middle C and G, a fifth apart. Middle C and A, a sixth apart. Middle C and B, a seventh apart. And then we have middle C and the C above, they're an eighth apart. So let's see. The other type of interval, specific intervals. These are measured both by staff position and in half steps on the keyboard. So we have here a first, a second, a third, a fourth, a fifth, a sixth, a seventh, and an eighth. Well, what type of sixth is middle C to A? Well, because it's a natural, it's a major sixth. If we're in A flat, it would be a minor sixth. So, when we're talking about specific intervals, we want to look at the quality of the interval. So, for example, there are three types of qualities that we'll be talking about just today. Perfect, major, and minor. So, examples of perfect intervals are firsts, fourths, fifths, and eighths. Another type is major intervals, and major intervals can be seconds, thirds, sixths, and sevenths. Now, anything that's a major interval can also be a minor interval. All you gotta do is just flatten it by a half step. It has to be a half step less than a major interval. Remember how I spoke about major versus minor sixth? So you take a major sixth, so a C, middle C to A, and if you put a flat in front of the A, making it an A flat, well then, there you go. You've flattened it by a half step, making it a minor interval. So, now, in today's lesson, we're going to be discussing two particular types of intervals, seconds and thirds. So let me just clean this up real quick. So talking about seconds. Draw a staff real quick. It's not the prettiest staff, but it'll do. Let's draw a triple clef. There's our G right there, G clef. So, a major second is a generic second on the staff. So let's just, draw a middle C. And a generic second, for a major second, well, C to D. We're on the Sledger line, we're moving up to the space. 1, 2. So, the major second is a generic second on the staff. Gen sec. And is made up of two half steps on the keyboard. 2 half steps, also known, aka, also known as 1 whole step. Ta-da! Now, oh, and I want to say that's a major. Maj second. Now, a minor second. That would be like C to D flat. C and D. Let me make that C. And got a little flat symbol right there. Now it is still a generic second, and this time instead of 2 half steps, it's just made of 1 half step. 1 half step, aka 1 semitone, and this is what it sounds like. Verse is a major second, minor second, major second. So we have here something that to our ears might be pretty easy to grasp. So let's call, as long as we're staying with middle C, let's call middle C do. Do. Do we all know our do, re, mi's? Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Okay. So, if C is do, that makes D re. Do, re. This is a major second. I'm using a capital M to denote major. I'm going to put M2 so that I remember major second. But how do we flatten re? What does that sound like? Well, let's see. We keep do. Do is the same. Do is middle C. We go to ra. Ra is a minor second. I'm putting a lowercase m with a dash over it to signify minor. Do, re, major second. Do, ra, minor second. So let's look at some different do, re's and do, ra's. Another easy to grasp example is, for a major second, capital M2, meaning major second, that could be E and F sharp. Fill that in because that's going to bug me. There we go. And another minor second. Lowercase m with a dash over it. Well, let's see. That could be, well, same with E. E to F natural. I'm going to put a natural sign right next to it because we're still like the same measure, and I'm denoting that this F is no longer sharpened, it is natural. So let's hear it. So E is our new do. Do. Let's think of our do, re, mi's. Do, re. So those are your two types of seconds that you can have, major and minor. So now let's move on to thirds. Oh, I'm gonna mess this up. Okay. Okay. Now we're gonna fill this back in then on. Noise. Okay. Looking at you, thirds. So remember that thirds can be either major or minor. So let's write this in. So a major third, just a review, a major third is a generic third on the staff. And it's made out of 4 semitones on the keyboard. Semitones. And a minor third is a generic third on the staff. And it is made up of 3 semitones or half steps. Okay. So let's look at it. Let's see. C to E for major third. And minor third, C to E flat. Flat there, so we know it's flat. There we are. All right. So let's hear it. A major third. It's generic third, and it's 4 semitones. Do, mi. And a minor third. So again, we're saying that middle C is our do, and E is our mi. That's how we get a major third, do, mi flattened by a semitone is me. Go to me. That's our minor third. Do, mi, me. Oh, heaven's sake. Do, mi, me, do. Major third, minor third. Let's look at another example. Fill this in. Another color. So, E. What is a major third from E? So, I know that it's going to be occupying the line. Let's put it over here as well. Because here's another trick. With thirds, whatever it is, whether it's sharpened, flattened, natural, a third is always going to be, if the bottom note is on a line, the third above is going to be on a line. If it's on a space, the third above is going to be on a space. You can always trust that it's going to be the same as a line or a space. So, E to G. Let's start on E and go up 4 semitones to see what it is. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 semitones. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100, 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107, 108, 109, 110, 111, 112, 113, 114, 115, 116, 117, minor third is flattening the third by one semitone. That's a G natural. So that's how I know that that's a minor third. Do, mi, do, me, do. All right. So those are your major and minor seconds and thirds. I hope this helped. And I have musictheory.net exercises posted in the GroupMe, as well as review worksheets available, classroom activities. I've got a bunch of stuff for y'all. So thank you for tuning into session 1, basics and intervals. And yep, hope to see you soon in person or on the interwebs. Thank you. Bye-bye.